George Francis FitzGerald was an Irish professor of natural and experimental philosophy at Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, during the last quarter of the 19th century. He is known for his work in electromagnetic theory and for the Lorentz-FitzGerald contraction, which became an integral part of Einstein's special theory of relativity. The FitzGerald crater on the far side of the Moon is named for him. The FitzGerald Building at Trinity College, Dublin is named after him. Life and work in physics. FitzGerald was born at No. 19, Lower Mount Street in Dublin on 3 August 1851, to the Reverend William FitzGerald and his wife Anne Frances Stoney, Professor of Moral Philosophy in Trinity and Vicar of St. Anne's, Dawson Street, at the time of his son's birth. William FitzGerald was consecrated Bishop of Cork, Cloyne and Ross in 1857 and translated to Killaloe and Clongford in 1862. George returned to Dublin and entered Trinity as a student at the age of 16. He became a Fellow of Trinity in 1877 and spent the rest of his career at this college. Along with Oliver Lodge, Oliver Heaviside and Heinrich Hertz, FitzGerald was a leading figure among the group of Maxwellians who revised, extended, clarified, and confirmed James Clerk Maxwell's mathematical theories of the electromagnetic field during the late 1870s and the 1880s. In 1883, following from Maxwell's equations, FitzGerald was the first to suggest a device for producing rapidly oscillating electric currents to generate electromagnetic waves, a phenomenon which was first shown to exist experimentally by the German physicist Heinrich Hertz in 1888. In 1883, he was elected Fellow of the Royal Society. In 1899, was awarded a Royal Medal for his investigations in theoretical physics. In 1900, he was made an Honorary Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. FitzGerald suffered from many digestive problems for much of his shortened life. He became very ill with stomach problems. He died at his home in Dublin shortly after an operation on a perforated ulcer on 21 February 1901. Length contraction. FitzGerald is better known for his conjecture in his short paper, The Ether and the Earth's Atmosphere, that if all moving objects were foreshortened in the direction of their motion, it would account for the curious null results of the Michelson-Morley experiment. FitzGerald based this idea in part on the way electromagnetic forces were known to be affected by motion. In particular, FitzGerald used some equations that had been derived a short time before by his friend the electrical engineer Oliver Heaviside. The Dutch physicist Hendrik Lorentz hit on a very similar idea in 1892 and developed it more fully into Lorentz transformations. In connection with his theory of electrons, he demonstrated the kinematic nature of this effect, by deriving it from the principle of relativity and the constancy of the speed of light. Family. FitzGerald married, on 21 December 1885, Harriet Mary, daughter of the Reverend John Hewitt Gellert, Provost of Trinity College, Dublin. He had 8 children by her, 3 sons and 5 daughters. FitzGerald was the nephew of George Johnston Stoney, the Irish physicist who coined the term electron, after the particles were discovered by J. Thomson and Walter Kaufmann in 1896. FitzGerald was the one to propose calling them electrons. FitzGerald was also the nephew of Bindon Blood Stoney, an eminent Irish engineer. His cousin was Edith Ann Stoney, a pioneer female medical physicist. Flying experiments. FitzGerald, in common with others at the end of the 19th century, became obsessed with the desire to fly. His attempts in College Park, Dublin, in 1895 involved large numbers of students pulling tow ropes attached to the Lilienthal glider, and attracted the attention of the people of Dublin, beyond the Nassau Street railings. FitzGerald took off his coat on these occasions, but retained his top hat, which was normal headgear for a fellow at that time. The experiments were not crowned with success, and were eventually abandoned. The flying machine hung for many years in the museum building until an idle engineering student applied a match to the cord from which it was hanging. The flame traveled along the cord and consumed the glider before the helpless onlookers.